to you. Thank you for a great night and enjoy the press conference. Thank you guys so much for hanging tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, everybody. It was a great night for the business of AEW, and there's a lot of good things happening in the business of AEW right now. It was a very violent and intense night. A lot of different things. Some great wrestling, some great fighting, some great rivalries, and a lot of things to keep an eye on going into Wednesday's AEW Dynamite in Lexington, Kentucky on TBS. I would love to take your questions. Some of the things as far as the status of some of the wrestlers, we're still checking, and it was a really, really intense night for a lot of reasons, but I thought it was a huge success for the company in many ways. We had a great sellout crowd tonight here at the Now Arena, where we've had so many great shows over the years. I think it was significantly up over last year's All Out on pay-per-view, which is great, and I feel really, really strong about the future of the company and our media rights, and that's kind of where I'd imagine a lot of the questions are going to be, and that's probably where I'd keep some of the focus on some of the questions, because it's such a great time for the AEW business, and I'd love to talk to you all about it now, coming out of one of the most intense shows in AEW history.
Hey Tony, Corey Lee with the Wrestling Observer. There was a report online that you guys had a copyright request for something called AEW Shockwave. Can you provide any idea what that is? And also, again, you've obviously said you're on the 1 yard line. Is there any update on if this TV deal is signed, and if it is, or if it's really close, if there's a timetable for an announcement, at least in regards to that?
Thank you very much. It's a great two-parted question. I'll take it in reverse order. To the second part of your question, we're still in very, very close and exciting negotiations with Warner Brothers Discovery. It's been going on throughout the summer that we've been having these conversations, and it's a very detailed package that we're having discussions about. AEW's grown so much. Coming up October 2nd in Pittsburgh, we'll celebrate 5 years of AEW Dynamite. It's the 5th year anniversary, the first episode. We started with 2 hours, and we did All Out here 5 years ago, and we were just getting ready to launch that 2 hours of weekly television. Now we have 5 hours of weekly television, and the company's changed and grown and expanded so much. It's a really exciting time. The relationship has gotten better and better. We started with just TNT. Now we do wrestling every week on TBS and TNT. And I said last night here in the arena, after the conclusion of the 3 hours live, as we were starting the countdown show on TNT and saying goodnight to the live fans here at the Now Arena, I said that I think it's safe to say I believe AEW is here to stay on TNT and TBS. And I think that's true for a very long time, and I believe it. I have not put pen to paper. I'm still working on things. It's an exciting time without getting too specific, but while giving everybody that anticipation of things to come. There's really exciting things to come in AEW, and I'm very grateful to have the support of Warner Brothers Discovery, TNT, and TBS. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We have a great appreciation for the tradition and history of professional wrestling here in AEW, and just like a lot of AEW's history has emanated from this very building, and some of our best matches and great moments and great shows and greatest rivalries. And so much has happened in this building, in the Now Arena, and here around Chicago. There's been such a great, vast history for so many years, decades before we ever dreamed of AEW here on TBS, where there's a history of over 50 years of professional wrestling, and it means a lot to me that we're able to continue that tradition, and I think hopefully continue it for a long time to come. So things are moving really, really well, and it's an exciting time. And as for your first question, I think it would be safe to say that AEW is set to create a shockwave throughout all professional wrestling. And I think people tonight are going to be talking about what they saw at AEW All Out, which was a huge business success for us. Did really, really well here at the Now Arena. big sellout show and also really well on pay-per-view, and I think it bodes really well and creates a lot of anticipation for what's going to happen Wednesday night on Dynamite on TBS, and we'll continue to send that shockwave through the world of professional wrestling here in AEW. Thanks, Corey.
No problem.
Hey Tony, Ricky Chino for Sports Illustrated. Obviously we saw a lot of crazy, violent spots on the show tonight. I'm just kind of curious, what is your process when going over, weighing the risk with a spot and whether or not, just the situation calls for it? Where do you kind of figure out on a day-to-day basis how to draw the line and not cross it, and whether or not a spot is worth it?
It's a great question. I think it's something that the company has gotten better and better about, and we have the smartest pro wrestlers, the smartest coaches, and we've only added more great wrestlers. We've seen the roster get better and better, and in the backstage, more coaches, more great people, and a lot of thought went into tonight's show. And you saw, in my opinion, the best professional wrestlers in the world go out there, and you saw so many different things, different kinds of matches, different kinds of rivalries, different kinds of results, and different kinds of emotions, and it was a roller coaster, and I felt like it was a fantastic show tonight, and I felt really great about what we put out there, and I do appreciate where your question's coming from, but I also think it's from having the best wrestlers and the best staff and the best fans in the world. That's how we were able to put out a product tonight, and it takes everybody working together, the wrestlers and the fans and the staff all coming together to do something as special as this, and it was a very, very ambitious effort, to say the least.
Hi Tony, Katie Sokol from the Pop Break. I had a quick question about Dr. Britt Baker DMD because we have not heard anything since All In. I was wondering if there's any type of update on her.
Well, it was great to get Dr. Britt Baker back at AEW All In Wembley Stadium. It was a great show tonight, and she's a big part of the AEW roster, and she was a big part of AEW All In, and obviously tonight we saw a lot of intense matches, intense rivalries, and as we approach the coming weeks, it's an exciting time. The events are coming fast and furious. It's that time of year, going from All In to All Out, now heading into Grand Slam in New York and into Wrestle Dream, and absolutely, Dr. Britt Baker's an important part of the roster, and it's something to keep an eye on when we'll see from Dr. Britt Baker, when we'll hear from her, and what we'll see next. Thanks.
Hi, Tony. So I know you're a data and analytics guy, and you think a lot about probabilistic thinking. So I just want to go back to the media rights question. So if you had to assign a probability, and answer it only in a number, that there would be some sort of a deal announced, say, the next month or so, what would you pen that number to be?
Doing math right now.
And this, did you say like a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh no, like as a percentage, 50%, 100%, that something will be announced or come out of the media in the next month or so.
90%.
Lyrics Swinton Blavity. So AEW is now 5 years old, and when the company started, it was supposed to be about being wrestling that you won't be able to find anywhere else. And so now in 2024, especially after the show that we saw today, I think we can all agree that this is stuff you won't see anywhere else. What is your vision for AEW as an alternative, and what do you think that it means to be an alternative in professional wrestling in 2024?
Well, it's a great question. The market share that AEW's captured since we launched 5 years ago is unprecedented. We started with a market share of 0, and we have a real market share. We've now gone to England, and twice we've sold over 50,000 tickets. We've set business records. We've done multiple multi-million-dollar gates, and we've become an international success story, and we're only continuing to build our worldwide business. I think it's an unprecedented success story. As a historian of sports, and as I'm getting ready for NFL kickoff and getting ready to head down to Miami for the Jaguars kicking off hours from now, I have to say that the last time that a challenger sports league in this continent had the kind of market share, the percentage of the market that AEW has in their industry would be the AFL. And the AFL was a great sports league. They had great stars. The NFL is the biggest media enterprise in the world, and the AFL came in and they got real market share. And of course, we all know they merged. It created the Super Bowl, the greatest game, the greatest entertainment property, and together the NFC and the AFC formed the NFL, the greatest sport, the greatest media enterprise, and the greatest marketing machine in the world. I think that for AEW, what we've been able to come in and do, it's very true to our sport. You can tell, I think, that the people who work here really love professional wrestling. It's something we really encourage, no matter what you do, whether you're a wrestler or whether you work in the production truck or whether you work around the ring, whatever you do in AEW, whether you're working on a camera, behind the camera, or whether you're in front of the camera, we really encourage people that love pro wrestling, and I think that's how we kind of help grow the market share here, and also I think we have a lot of like-minded fans, and that's what really I think helps us capture that excitement and that energy. And you saw all kinds of different emotions and reactions, but the crowd was on the edge of their seat all night in this building. We've seen that many times before over the past 5 years, and that's what we've come to expect from AEW. But I think also it's getting better and stronger, and the connection and the emotions are getting stronger and more intense. And tonight I felt stronger about what we put out there than I ever have, and I feel stronger about the future of AEW than I ever have. And I think that's a really good note to say goodnight on, because tonight took a lot out of a lot of people in the backstage, myself included. It was a really intense night of wrestling, and when you saw what happened out there, and when you know my personal relationships with the people that were out there in the ring and what happened tonight, I think that speaks for itself. I love pro wrestling, and I love the people that I work with, especially some of the people you saw. But I wanted to come out here because I really appreciate all of you, and I wanted to come here and see you all face to face, because I really appreciate all of you coming here to cover. Normally I would stay all night and answer every question, but tonight was a little different. I think it was a huge success as a business. I think it was a great event, but some of the things that happened, some of the violence and some of the outcomes and things that happened in the matches and after the matches, I think it'd be best to let those speak for themselves. But I also, because it's so important to have all of you here covering the show, I wanted to come here and personally thank every single person here and look you all hopefully in the eye and say thanks for coming here to cover AEW. I really appreciate it. 5 years of All Out here and 6 years going back to All In, with the exception of 2020 in Jacksonville. We've built this great tradition here around Chicago, and I know a lot of you traveled to come into the show. I really appreciate it. And also, in addition to wanting to come here and thank you all for being here, I also wanted to come and talk about what's going on with the media rights. I didn't expect to be maybe putting percentages on things, but we sit in a really good place. And like I said, I feel like we're on the 1 yard line, and I'm not sure how many snaps it's going to take to punch the ball into the end zone, but I'm very confident. I'm 100% sure the ball's going in the end zone, and based on the timetable you gave me, I don't know. You put me on the spot, but that's how good I feel about the media rights. I wish I felt that good about what happened to all the people, but that's pro wrestling. I really appreciate all of you, and look forward to seeing you all at AEW Dynamite on Wednesday in Lexington, or the next time I see you all in person, which I hope would be at Wrestle Dream in Tacoma, Washington. Thank you very much.